Yes. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. We are live today on YouTube, and now we will start with those questions which are already asked to us. Sir, someone has read our practical guidebook to become an officer or is in the reading process. He is asking us, what does demonstrated behavior mentioned in Who Am I in the practical guidebook mean?
Okay, fine. You see, in trying to get a clearer picture as to who am I have referred to in your own personal, your self-assessment as to you should seek demonstrated behavior rather than your own thoughts. See, it will explain to you better if you try and visualize that when you observe others and you analyze their personality, then you would have access only to their actions which they have taken, but not their thought process as to how they came to what decisions and then they took whatever actions they took. Similarly, like when you would be, say, in the psychology test, when you see a picture, then you may get several thoughts, but you will select one final thought based on which you will write the reaction test, that several one thing only out of them. So, and so also in real life, when you start doing self-analysis, often we get involved in the thoughts which we were having. Whereas what is most pertinent is what action we took in a particular situation. And the action which we took is the demonstrated behavior. It takes away the thoughts, because thoughts going into them may create confusion in self-analysis. So like, a candidate will get assessed by the psychologist based on what he has written. That is his demonstrated behavior. Similarly, the way you will assess others based on their demonstrated behavior, you should assess yourself also based on what actions you took and not the thoughts which were there in your mind. So that is what I'm trying to state, and that will give you a clearer picture about yourself and will remove the confusion as far as self-assessment is concerned. I hope the point has got reasonably clear, Yogita. Okay, fine. That's what it is. Yeah.
So physical fitness related question has come. I have my SSC CPO physical examination. Anjali is asking. I have to run 1 mile in 6 minutes and jump 12 feet. How can I achieve this? 1 mile in 6 minutes and 12 feet jump.
This is a girl or a boy?
Boy.
Boy. Okay. Boy. Okay. So now to get to a 6-minute target is not very difficult. If you have read our fitness guide or you have read our blogs related to fitness where I have written about running, you will have to use the methodology that I've explained in it to improve your running timing. So improving the timing for 1 mile does not entail just repeatedly running 1 mile. That is not a good idea. You have to check as to what is your timing today and accordingly make your plan. So first thing would be to build up your endurance. And endurance you build up by slow long distance running. That is jogging a reasonable distance. Now, since I have don't know as to what kind of timing you are getting and what is your body weight and things like that, a rough guide I will take is that you are in a position to run, say, 1 mile in somewhere below 7 minutes and do a 5 kilometer somewhere below 30 minutes. So considering these as a, assessed yardsticks for you, I would suggest that you make a plan of a 3-day running schedule in which you run, some 7-8 kilometers on Monday morning. Tuesday, you at a gradual pace, just run continuous. That's all. Speed is not pertinent to build up your endurance. On Tuesday, you observe a break. On Wednesday, you take your timing for 1 mile. Run at your best pace and see as to how much time you are taking. You run 1 mile. Thereafter, you stop. You take a recovery time of about 4 or 5 minutes. Then you can run another mile. Again, take a 5 minutes gap and then run another mile. So 3 times you can do your 1 mile and then go for a break on Thursday. On Friday morning, you do interval training. And in interval training, you run 400 meters, then take a gap of about 2 minutes, again run 400 meters at your about 80 to 90% of your max speed. So in this manner, you do say about 8 intervals of 400 meters. Trying to sustain the speed which you got in your first interval run. In this manner, you can go on checking your timing and seeing your improvement, and probably in a matter of a month or so, you may be able to get your requisite timing. Now, as far as jumping of 12 feet is concerned, in normal course, if you have decent speed and you can get this timings of 1 mile of 6 minutes and all, then if you just have a pit or access to any long jump pit, because that is required. Because otherwise, if you jump on a hard ground, you will hurt your legs. So in that, if you jump, you will find that 12 feet you will be able to jump. It's not such a big deal. Because a reasonable runner or a sports person can jump, say, 14, 15 feet, an adult male is not such a big deal. So fine. So jumping 12 feet should not be a big deal. But if it is, then you will have to focus on practicing your long jump, say, maybe twice in a week on a different sessions than your running days. And in case you are falling short, then you will have to, in your interval runs, which you are doing on Fridays, you will have to do shorter intervals of, say, 50-meter sprints, 20-meter sprints. In this manner, you can build up your leg power. And certain exercises of the plyometric nature you can do. You can search Google, the jumping, bounding exercises you can do. This much should suffice. Otherwise, of course, there are methods of doing weight training, building leg strength and all. that can also be done, but to reach this level of 6 minutes and 12 feet in long jump, you may not be required to do all that. You should be able to attain this level through the methods that I have explained. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sir, Samir Saxena has asked, sir, how to get rid of shin pain? Shin pain.
Okay. See, shin pain happens because there is an overload on your lower limb, and a lot of NDA cadets and direct entry joining IMA and the training academies have this problem. And we often have cases of stress fracture where you know that your tibia fibula is these bones, they develop a swelling. They don't break, but swelling is there. So we call it, this the problem that I told you, stress fracture. So now to recover from stress fracture, the thing required is rest. That's first. Now, so in case you are having this problem, you will have to give it a rest. And treatment wise, the first thing is that after you have trained, you give it an ice pack, and then uh, you know, apply analgesic, anything like all this Volini, Iodex, and all that, and then tie a crepe bandage. These are the things which you do to speed up recovery by increasing the blood circulation. Uh, to start with, let's say, so first thing I would say that when you are having this problem, you take rest and you allow this pain to go off. Now, when you start retraining, you should follow the methods which I will just explain now. First is avoid running on and run on it. That's first thing. Second thing is that you start developing your calf muscles to improve their ability to absorb shocks. Because, like, if you visualize a vehicle which doesn't give you shocks and all, the ride is very smooth, it has got good shock absorbers. So, in the body, when you are running, the shock absorbers are provided in the form of the strength of the calf muscles, they're involved in jumping, bounding activities. Like if you see the NBA players and all, they're jumping so high. And then also you find that they're bound and they get back and all that, and nothing happens to them. So you can do calf raises. You can get onto edge of any platform where your heel is in the air and only the balls of your feet are resting. And you can raise your heels up, count for a little while, come down, again raise up. In this manner you can do this exercise, and as you build up your strength, you can shift from both legs to single leg calf raises, and you can even add weight by putting a barbell on your shoulder, then doing calf raises, or holding onto some weight in your hand. So in this manner, you can build your calf muscles. And this exercise you can do, 3-4 days in a week, and do reasonable number of sets, say 6-7 sets of a number of calf raises, by 10, 12, 15, like that. So you are building up your calf muscles and running on soft ground. Yeah, so these are the things which you have to do. So primarily what you have to do, you should not reach the stage of having this excessive pain in the shin bone. So slowly it will start improving. As far as your diet is concerned, you should make sure that you are getting enough amount of calcium and vitamin D, and this you can get through milk, curd, cottage cheese, or you can take calcium supplement as also vitamin D supplements. So because they are also important in the bone density. Like I personally have to take, I take calcium 1 tablet per day regularly, and I take vitamin D in a matter of, 25 to 30 days gap. I take vitamin D also 60,000 MU 1 tablet, because that much I require, because despite my exposure to sun, playing tennis and all that, it doesn't work out adequate. And without vitamin D quantity being okay, calcium absorption is not good. So these are some of the methods which you will have to do to avoid shin pain. Hopefully things should work out if you follow the method that I have explained. Thank you.
Saurav Kumar has asked, I am in-service candidate of Indian Navy and I am preparing for in-service entry. I do not have any achievements in co-curricular activities and sports. So can I get recommended?
Yes, you can definitely get recommended. No achievements in sports and hobbies, interests are required. These are all just creations of the websites and all that. Don't get bothered. Please go to my website, read the story of the Tharvi slum officer. You can share the link of it, Gita, in this below this our recording. And this guy had no hobbies and all that. There was no time for all that. He was busy just trying to stay alive and earn a livelihood, because that's the first thing. I mean, only once we can stay alive, only then can we, get to the stage of pursuing some hobbies, interests, and all that. So these are not very important, so long as your competence, academic ability, your language ability, your other qualities, physical fitness and all that, they are okay. Then hardly matters as to whether you have some hobbies, interests and all that. Not very important. However, being a service, candidate, you can develop interest in some kind of reading, maybe if you like, or some kind of exercising, depending upon whatever your interest is, and then pursue these hobbies. It will be good for in the long run and keep you physically fit also. But once again, don't get concerned that these hobbies are going to play a crucial role in deciding your selection or rejection. They are not going to play a significant role at all. So don't get hassled. You can just leave these columns blank. And if overall you are quite competent, then you will get selected. There's no problem at all. Yeah, thank you.
Saira Mike has asked, sir, how to prepare for GTO task at home? GTO task, PGT, HGT. I recently got conference out from 21 SSB and I'm really not satisfied with my performance in GTO. So what we do?
Now, what happens is, in the GTO series, we know when we come to the series of the outdoor tasks, starting from the PGT, then the HGT, then the command task, and the final group task. We know that a candidate who has not been to any coaching academy or not been exposed to such, the Malli Patta task, that boy or girl will not be knowing about them. We will not be having a hang of these. Whereas some of the persons who have been to these coachings and all will have, because they have got exposure. So the same thing had happened with me, because I had not been to any coaching, and in my first attempt only when I went, initially when we started with the PGT, we had a few boys who had been to a coaching academy, and so there were 3-4 repeaters also. In our time, there used to be a mixed up of groups. So we were following them. But the 40 minutes of PGT was reasonable time for someone like me to get a hang. By the time we reached PGT 3, that how these cantilever bridges are being made and how we are able to, by trial and error methods, able to devise as to how crossings can be made, because it has to do more with practical sense rather than any theoretical ability or uh, I mean, the thought process that the more tasks you have done, the greater proficiency you develop in those. Of course, you develop some ability, you get a hang, but it's not such a big deal, because the idea of this test itself is to check a person's ability to practically apply the knowledge he or she has. So, in this manner, what will happen is that by the time PGT is over and a part of HGT is over, a person who is absolutely raw, who has no exposure, will get a decent idea. So by the time command task comes, the person is able to apply individually and solve the task. That's exactly what happened with me. As also one of my friends, Andrew, two of us who were, absolute freshers, and both of us got recommended, whereas the repeaters and coaching guys did not get recommended. We had got a good hang, and we were given difficult command tasks, and we could solve them. So this is one way that don't take any pressure, remain involved in trying to solve the task, and you'll get an idea. However, things have changed a lot since the 1970s when we had gone for our SSB. Today, you have access to so much more information. There are so many YouTube, channels, websites, and all which are explaining all these tasks, obstacles, crossing of these obstacles, GTO tasks, and all that. So you can have a look at these, and you can see their solutions. By seeing them, you get a decent idea as to how these crossings are being prepared. And you will realize that in most cases, more than 80% of the time, securing firmly one end of the plank is the crux to getting the crossing made. So, and some amount of trial and error has to happen, because, the GTOs are continuously changing these obstacles. They are not fixed. So, and they're bringing in new contraptions, because that's what it is. After all, if, you have knowledge of all these things through the websites and all that, then if you've already done a thing, then you'll be able to do it easily. And then the purpose of the GTO will not be solved. So he has to keep bringing in these innovations and all. But the common sense aspect remains. So you can get this, exposure by sitting at home through seeing these. In our this thing also now in No Frills Academy, we have started these. We have created 3D models. Some of our students have done, and they are using this planks, rope, and all that to create these obstacles, and then practice by seeing as to how we can create these crossings, and most of these series of PGT, HGT, and FGT can be done. So these are some of the ways you can do. There is no need of going to any coaching academy, physically having to do this task. And it's an absolute wrong notion that tying of knots and all that is the key to success in the GTOC. It is not, because the important thing is your common sense and keeping your wits about you, not taking pressure of getting selected, being a good team member. The various qualities which the GTO assesses in the GTO series, that they are more important. So this is what you should do. And I hope these things will work for you. If you are still in doubt, then you can join our guidance program. You will get exposure to some of these things, when we practice these aspects in our group. And definitely things like GD, group planning exercise. So you will get exposure, as also overall holistic development, which will help you not just in GTO task, but overall. Choice is yours, but these things can be done sitting at home. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We are conducting such sessions, so do join us. Okay. Karan Sharma has asked, sir, I left my job recently to practice for SSB, but I took an internship. How will I be viewed in SSB?
You don't get, see, so once you start worrying as to what impact you will create on the assessors, you are going to get rejected. That's 90, more than 90% chances of that, because you have yourself a sense of inadequacy. कि मैं ठीक ठाक नहीं हूँ, तो आप reject हो ही जाओगे, क्योंकि आप अपने को ही ठीक नहीं समझ रहे हो. You see, thing is that you have taken a decision based on some logic that you have. And if you are asked a question by the interviewing officer, you explain that logic to him or her. That's all you do. And hope for the best, because after all, for quitting your job, you have some logic that you wanted to practice for SSB. And so you tell that. Overall, if you have followed our channel or you followed No Frills Academy in any manner, then you would know that I am a I strongly oppose this idea of quitting job to prepare for SSB. Because there's nothing like SSB preparation. There's no time required, because when you leave your job, what you will start doing is, you may go to some class and all that, and which will be, and mugging up stories and practicing SRTs and all that, which is not required actually at all, by which you get misguided. So the thing is that actually when you're working and you're balancing your life and you're improving your general knowledge, improving your physical fitness while you're working, you are actually enhancing your personality. Because by working, we learn practical life things, handling situations. That is what is more important. That is personality development. And the crux of SSB is, qualifying for SSB means that if you are a student, if you have been a good student, that means you're fit for selection. And if you are a worker and you have been a good worker, then you are fit for selection. So somebody who's sitting at home and preparing for SSB, in isolation and just doing that, that person, in my view, is quite irresponsible, because that person is not contributing to his or her family or to the society in an adequate manner, though he or she has the capability to do so. So quitting job is not a good idea. But if you quit your job, then state whatever reasons you quit, whatever you're doing, and hope for the best. By thinking that what impact it is going to have and all that is not going to help you. Just have a rational logic for doing whatever you do, and think that the person who's asking you just wants to know your logic. Just tell that, that's it. Yeah, thank you.
This was one of the important questions. Okay, we will meet next time, and then those who have posted doubts, I have noted them down so that we can take up next time. So join us every Sunday 10 a.m. And for any specific queries, please write to us at nofrillsacademy@gmail.com.
Okay, thank you very much. Take care. God bless.